Hello and welcome. Welcome to this 30 minutes of called morning release. Although in saying it's morning release, you can probably do this anytime you want. The reason I'm putting this together is because for 2 years in my corporate job, I used to teach a morning class twice a week. And some of these practices are from those, but others are from my personal practice that I do every day. So this one has got a little bit of elements of both. But come along, join on the journey. I'm going to do a lot more of these, going to do after work ones as well. Forgive me if you hear some noise in the background. Being in Bali, beautiful Bali, which you're in, sometimes there's a lot of construction going on and it's never ending for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's probably because everybody wants to come here. So with that said, grab some props. If you've got a yoga mat, that's great. If you don't, that's okay. We'll just make do of what you've got. But I'm just grabbing cushions, and you can see pillows, and I'm sitting on a cushion at the moment. Always nice to sit on something, because in yoga, it's a really important thing to do. Basically, it gets your hips off the floor. Raising the pelvis off the floor is ideal because it helps assist of stopping the rounding of the back. But also from an energy perspective in yoga, it helps the prana to flow, which is the life force within your body. So grab that, pause this if you need to, and get what you need, and then just come into a comfortable seated position. You can be cross-legged, you can just be kneeling if that works for you, and just come to where you are right now. Notice where your breath is in. Closing the eyes. And just notice the breath moving in and out of your nostrils. And can you imagine the air at the tip of your nostrils just displacing as you breathe in and out? Visualize what that would look like. And starting to go deeper with the breath. Notice the breath going right down into the base of your lungs. Exhaling, the air comes out of your lungs back to that nose tip and expels out into the air, into the day. Breathing in and breathing out. So we're going to move into a very traditional practice, not often taught nowadays. It's called counting the breaths. This is a wonderful practice, and it's a very mindful practice. So we'll start together, and you're going to inhale and exhale out through the nose. So inhaling in, 27. Exhaling out, 27. Inhaling in, 26. Exhaling out, 26. Inhaling in, 25. Exhaling out, 25. So carry on with the counting. And it's important to remember, if you lose count, just go back to the start again, and we start on 27. Now the goal here is not to get to 1. It's just to focus on the breath and the counting and just staying mindful to the practice. All right, we're starting to come out. So just 2 more rounds, wherever you're at. Then come back to your natural breath. Inhaling in through the nose. Open mouth sigh. And again. Last one. And then very gently open your eyes. So those of you who need to wriggle your feet around, by all means do so, just to get the blood circulating again. If you're okay to sit for a little bit longer, we're going to come into a practice called Sufi rolls. Now, I get joked by my wife about this. She said, "You love these things?" And I said, "Yeah, I do love them because they're very helpful for my body." What we do here is we place the hands on the knees. They come from Kundalini Yoga. We just do some small rotations in one direction. And you can use your breath. You can exhale to come down, inhale to come up. You can close your eyes too. This can be quite hypnotic. Getting back to center and start off on the, and then go to the other side. So you start slow and then you build up. And as I said, these are the practices that I taught in the corporate world, and this is a great exercise if you sit all day like I used to do for hours and hours. So back to center, lifting the right hand up. And a nice little stretch. I like to wiggle the fingers here. Got my left hand on my thigh or the knee. And we're just going to twist over to the left side. So right hand on left knee, left hand behind you, looking over the left shoulder. Breathing in and out here. Left hand up and over. Breathing in and out. Couple of breaths here. Back to center, hands on the knees. I'm going to do some seated cat-cows. So basically rolling your head down, and then you inhale to come up. Do this 3 times. Getting that spine moving. Really nice to do. Left hand comes up. Nice little stretch into the fingers. Going over to the right, left hand on right thigh, right hand behind you. Looking over that right shoulder. Then getting the right hand up and over. Keeping the left hand where it is on the right thigh and just looking towards the right armpit. Back to center. Hands on knees. And those lovely little cat-cow movements again. Going to do one more round. Less words for me. Right hand up. Twisting towards the left. Right hand on right thigh. Left hand behind you, looking over the left shoulder. Left hand up and over. Looking towards the left armpit. Cat-cow. Left hand up, lifting and lengthening, over to the right, left hand on right thigh, right hand behind you, looking over the right shoulder. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Right hand up and over, looking towards that right armpit. Back to center, cat-cow. And letting the practice go. Hands in prayer. I'm going to move into another lovely little flow. Hands in prayer. Interlacing the fingers. Rounding out the back, looking towards the 2 thumb tips. Breathing in and out. Arms come 3/4 of the way up now. You'll notice the difference in your spine. It's lengthening a little bit here. breathing in and out. Reversing the interlace, lifting and lengthening into the spine. Floating the hands back, interlacing the fingers, chest comes forward, chin and forehead slightly looking up, breathing in and out. Hands out to the side. In a T shape, using the breath, rounding out the back again, interlacing the fingers, looking towards those thumb tips, hands back in prayer. And we'll do that again. Interlace fingers, rounding out the back, looking towards the two thumb tips. Easy breath in, easy breath out, 3/4. Reverse the interlace. Interlace the fingers behind. Chest comes forward, chin and forehead forward as well. Ooh, a few little cracking and popping just then. Arms out to side, T shape. Interlace fingers. And back in prayer. All right. Props off to the side. We're going to use them again, so it's always nice to keep these handy. So coming onto tabletop or all fours. So I'm going to move through some cat-cows. Now cat-cow is a very traditional movement in yoga, and it's actually nice to get set up with this in a really nice way. So shoulders are stacked over elbows and wrists, middle two fingers are pointing forward, and you've got the knees underneath the thighs, and they're about, maybe just about a foot apart, but you'll find the sweet spot, and then you'll know where it is with this practice. So tailbone goes up, belly towards the floor, chin and forehead towards the ceiling on the inhalation, opposite on the exhalation. So you're rounding out. Head is the last part of your body to move. And your sit bones or tailbones always the first. So you're breathing in and you're exhaling out. You can do some of your own movements if you like. Up to you. But this is a really lovely practice. And you can just imagine if you wake up in the morning doing this, absolutely awesome. So we're coming back to center. I'm going to do a movement now called tiger curls to curls. So I'm just repositioning myself on the mat, extending the right leg back, and then it's knee to nose. Now you may need to pat your supporting knee up. By all means, grab a towel. Always handy, knee to nose. And down. Extending up. And this time, right leg comes forward. Raising the hands up. I'm going to very gently, from this lunge, twist towards the right. Raising the hands up. And placing the hands down. So back into 4-point or tabletop. This time left leg extends. And do those tiger curls again, so knee to nose. And it may feel a lot different on this side. Usually does for me. Every day is different, and I'm quite surprised. You have your favourite sides, but with this practice, or all these practices, sometimes your favourite side isn't your favourite side. Last one up. And this time we come down and we come into that little lunge again, starting off in runner's lunge, then raising the hands up. Gentle arch of the back, floating to the left in a twist. So if you're a little bit wobbly here, you can actually move your legs apart a bit further, or your feet and your knee. Actually, it's really good to have proper balance in knees. It just helps with the posture, and it helps you not going out of alignment too. Raising the hands up. Little back arch, placing down. Stepping back into tabletop. Tucking the toes under. Moving the hands out a little bit further to the front. So it's hip towards heels. Then raising the legs up. And then from here, we're in our first down dog. If you've never done down dog before, we're looking for length in the arms and the backs. And the knees traditionally are bent, and that's a good thing. So the hands are out to the edges of the mat, and you're pushing into the pads of your hands and the fingers just to give a really nice distribution of weight. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit loud here with the microphone. So it's walking out the dog, we call this, just rolling the feet over on top of each other. Then you're coming to a still place. Several breaths here. Now if you're thinking, oh, this is a little bit too hard, by all means just come down onto your knees. 2 more breaths. Last one. And then very gently, tippy toe to the front of the mat. This is really slow. And then when you get to the front of the mat, halfway lift. And halfway lift, you can just slide the hands, or your hands, up just below the knees, and you'll see that the back is reasonably straight. That's what we're looking for. Exhaling out to come down. Then inhaling up to come up again. Just working into those back muscles. And when you come down to a low spot, we'll just dangle the hands just for several breaths. If you want to interlace your hands or your elbows, by all means do so. You'll notice a big bend in the knees. Those of you who have lower back issues, like I do, this is really, really nice on the back, just to take that stress out. All right, one last deep inhale. Exhaling out, bending right into those knees, and just coming up. Shoulders come up. Oh, even let out a nice little groan myself, and just rolling the shoulders back and forth. And welcome to your feet. All right. So we're going to move to a practice called salutes to the sun. Now this is, if you've done a lot of yoga, you might not have done this particular practice here. And it's classical salutes. So you'll see a little bit of a difference. We start at the front of the mat. Now traditionally these salutes are always done, well not always, traditionally they're done at sunrise. And it's a gratitude practice to thank the sun for all that it provides, warmth and heating and everything that you can imagine, growing food. Without the sun, we wouldn't be in a very good place, that's for sure. So front of mat. Now for this version of salutes, you start with hands in prayer, as we call it, Anjali. Now that's more of an offering, it's not an asking for. Closing the eyes, and as said, visualizing the sun on the horizon, and just being grateful for all that provides you. Then opening the eyes, raising your hands up, raised arm pose. Now you can sweep them forward or out to the side. If you're in a class with 80 people, it's probably best to sweep them forward. And then it's hands to feet pose. Now you notice big bend in the knees. Now when I say hands to feet, I'm on the fingertips here. Right leg back, knee on the floor, runner's lunge, or we call it equestrian as well. So you're looking forward. Placing the palms on the floor, stepping back into your downward dog. Been here before. So the next part to this is a little bit different. It's called 8-point flow.
So knees, elbows on the floor. And I'm going to float forward and come into right on the belly, and the hands are about middle way through with the ribs. And we're going to come up to little cobra pulses. So pushing into the hands once, inhaling in, exhaling down, inhaling in and down, and 3 times. And down. Tucking the toes under, coming up onto knees, back into down dog. Now you can, this next move, it can be quite strong, so you can come down onto your knees. And we're just drifting that left leg forward, back into that lunge. So your right leg is behind you, on fingertips, looking forward, springing up to the top of the mat. Hands to feet pose, raised arm pose, hands to prayer pose. Now that's one side. So we're going to go on to the other side. Hands in prayer, raised arm pose, a little bit quicker. Hands to feet pose. Bend in the knees. Left leg back this time. Runner's lunge, looking forward. Placing the hands down. Downward facing dog. Into that 8-point flow again. A little bit high with the cobra. Couple of breaths in and out here. Tucking the toes under. Couple of breaths. Back onto the knees. That can always help with this next move, which is coming into that little runner's lunge or fingertip lunge. Hands to feet pose, so coming to the top of the mat. Raised arm pose. And hands to prayer pose. We'll do one more round, less instruction for me, and a little bit quicker. Now in India they do these certain times, 108 times. That was just for one round, so 107 to go. So hands in prayer, raised arm pose. Hands to feet pose. Right leg back, runner's lunge, downward facing dog. 8-point flow. Cobra. Down dog. Left leg forward. Hands to feet pose. Raised arm pose. Hands to prayer pose. Breathing in and out. Raised arm pose. Hands to feet pose. Left leg back this time. Runner's lunge. Stepping back into downward dog. 8-point flow. Cobra. Down dog. Stepping forward of that right leg. Knee on the floor with the back left leg. Runner's lunge. Hands to feet pose. Raised arm pose. Hands to prayer pose. All right. So moving into a balance from here. Now we're going to move into tree pose. Now some of you who know a tree can come straight into it, but there is a few little options for people who haven't done it. Firstly, you don't always have to do these practices even in the studio on the mat. You can come off, because what happens if you've got carpet on the floor and a mat, it become a little bit unsteady. So have something a little bit more steady. You can also use a wall with your hands. And you also don't have to come in the full version. So I'm going to show you tree pose. So weight into the left foot, right knee's bent. Now this is called kickstand. So I've got my right heel on my left ankle, putting hands into a balanced mudra called Hakini. Now, I don't know why, but I always use this mudra. I think it's because it actually is a balanced mudra. Now, if you want to come up higher, you can actually lift your foot right up, but don't have your foot on your knee. It's either above or below. For purposes of showing you, I'm just going to have it here at the lower part. So your knee is right out to the side, finding a drishti point as we call it, which is a point of focus, and then you're raising the hands up. I'm going to drop my foot down, and you can hang out in this sweet spot. And it's okay to fall out of these practices. A lot of people get a little bit upset, but that's the practice. What yoga teaches us is how you can deal with things in life. It's such a beautiful practice. But we're not here for long. So to come out, arms out in the T, this is a bit different if you've done this before. We're coming into toppling tree. So the right leg out to the side. Right leg in, back into Hakini mudra. Little kick out with the right foot and down, straight on the other side. Weight into right leg. Using the kickstand with your left. Bringing the foot up if that works for you. You can use your assist if you want to go higher. Then raising the hands up. And you will find that one side's more steady than the other. This is definitely, well, I feel at the moment, more steady for me today. Several breaths here. Now you can hang out here if you want to pause for a lot longer. Arms out in a T shape, left leg out to the side, toppling tree. Notice the shift in weight, shift in balance. This is a wonderful practice, this toppling tree. Leg comes back in, hands in Hakini, that balancing mudra. Little kick out and down. And we're just living with this for a little while. Closing the eyes, several breaths in and out. And very gently open your eyes. And just grabbing a prop to sit on. I'm going to make our way onto the floor. Coming into a pose called butterfly pose. And this is a wonderful practice. So your feet can be together, but however, they don't have to be. If your body doesn't work that way, you're going to have your feet apart. You can have props underneath your knees if that works better for you, if you're feeling a little bit strained. And then we're just lifting and lengthening into the spine. I like to walk my fingers forward and then bend from the hip creases. So don't round out the back straight away. Lift and lengthen and then walk the fingers forward. And then when you find that you can't go any further forward with your butterfly, you can round out the back, you can grab hold of your feet and just come into a forward fold. So the aim isn't to get your head right down to the toes. Some people can, but we're just working into the groin area. You can feel some movement in the back. Could be some things going on in the hamstrings. So we're just looking for something. Beautiful practice, this butterfly. All right. Last deep inhale. Open mouth sigh. And very gently, walking your hands back toward you. Little counter pose, placing the hands, arching backwards. 2 breaths here. Back to center, crossing the legs over. Hands in prayer, Anjali, if that's what's within your practice. Gently closing your eyes. And just being grateful to yourself for doing the practice today. Grateful for the people who support you in your life. Acknowledging the teachers of this fantastic practice. And of course, acknowledging the greatest teacher of all, which is yourself, as we say.
Namaste. Very gently open your eyes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to do a lot more of these in the coming months, so stay tuned for more. And then if you anything else that you want, let me know and I can actually do a class on that. So enjoy your week and I shall see you on the mat soon. Bye for now.